Hi there, today we're going to talk about factoring, which is basically undoing the distributive property, the reverse distributive property. Go ahead and try this first page as a warm-up, pause the video, and come back when you're ready to go over the answers. All right, hopefully you're ready to go over the answers now. Problems 1 and 2 are very similar, and they want us to find the expression that does not represent the area. So in problem 1, I can see that expression S will work. 4 represents the length of the rectangle, and X plus Y represents the width of the rectangle. So 4 times the quantity of X plus Y would give you the area. I know K gives us the area because that one is just doing the area of the small box is 4X. The area of the medium box is 4y, so therefore the area of the entire box would be 4x plus 4y. So that one works. T does not work because they did not multiply the 4 times x. And then their second one doesn't make any sense either. X times y wouldn't be multiplied in any case. So T does not work. For similar reasons, expression H does not work on number 2. The left-hand side of this worksheet is a little bit just review of what we did. So I'm just going to go through the answers really quick. This shouldn't be new information. 9b, 3n, 30, 8a, x squared, 48, et, hopefully you've seen that movie, 28, ab, and k squared. On the right-hand side, for the first time, we are undoing the distributive property. So we're given the answer, 7x plus 7y, and we have to come up with a question. We have to think of a common factor that we can take out of 7x and 7y, and they gave it to us, 7. So if 7 is on the outside of the distributive property, we need to come up with what pieces would be on the inside. They gave us that the first one is x. That would make 7x. Therefore, the second one must be y, because if you were to distribute 7 to y, you would get 7y, and that's the second term in the expression. So going through the rest of those answers, M, 8, A, 4, D, 7, X, 20, and W. If you got any of those incorrect, please make sure to pause the video and think about it and see how the answer that I just gave might make sense. We're going to move on to the next page. On this page, we are applying the idea of factoring to these area models. In all of the expressions, I think the first one kind of serves as a model for what they're looking for. So let's go ahead and look at problem 1. So what they've given us so far is they've given us the number on the side, the numbers on the top, and 2 expressions that will give you the area. One expression is just multiplying the number on the side, which is kind of like the length, by x plus 6, which is the width. That makes sense. That would give us the area, because you could think of that the top as x plus 6. The second expression, 2x plus 12, we don't see that in the picture yet. So I'm guessing that's going to have something to do with the boxes. So if I were to fill in 2 times x, that would give me 2x for this box. 2 times 6 is 12, which then makes the area of the entire rectangle 2x plus 12. So down here, it's 2 different ways to represent the area, and they should be equivalent to each other. If you were to distribute the 2 to the x and the 6, you would get 2x plus 12. Go ahead and pause the video and complete problems 2 through 4. They work the same way. All right, hopefully you've completed those. I'm just gonna, for example, give you the answers to number 2, and hopefully that'll give you an idea of if you've done these correctly. So on number 2, I'd put x and 4 at the top. That would help me get the 2 different areas when I multiply them by 5. And then my expressions at the bottom would be 5 times parentheses x plus 4. That represents the length times the width. And then my second one would be 5x plus 20, and that represents adding up the 2 areas inside the picture. So you can see that the expression with parentheses always gives you information about what's going to be on the outsides of the rectangle, and the expression without parentheses always gives you information on what's going to be on the inside of the rectangle. Let's take a look at number 5, because now they've given us a lot less information. For 5, they've given us the expression 5x plus 35. Right away, I know I can fill in my 2 areas. I have to think of a common factor between 5x and 35 to write over here. And they actually gave it to me on this one. But I would just ask myself, what can I divide 5 by and 35? And that answer would be 5. So 5 goes out here. And then in order to make that area happen, I need an x up here and a 7 up here, which tells me how to fill in that parentheses. Go ahead and pause the video and complete 5 through 10. Unpause the video when you're ready to go over it. All right, hopefully you are ready to go over this one. I wanted to jump over to number 7 because I see a negative in there. First of all, I know that I could fill in 3x and negative 21 from the expression they gave us. Now, obviously, you can't have an expression, you can have an area of negative 21, but this is a model. It's not literally the area of something. A common factor between 3x and negative 21 would be 3. So that's something that I can pull out, and that's what I would put on the outside of my parentheses. Now I have to divide 3x by 3, which gives me x, and negative 21 by 3, which gives me negative 7. So therefore, x minus 7, or x plus positive 7, would be on the inside of the parentheses. Number 9 is kind of interesting too. So right away, I'm going to fill in negative 3x and negative 15 on the insides. That's from the expression they gave me. And they're telling me that I'm pulling out negative 3. So negative 3x divided by 3 must just be x, because if I were to do negative 3 times x, I would get negative 3x. Negative 15 divided by negative 3 is positive 5. Negative 3 times positive 5 gives me an area of negative 15. So then I can fill in x plus 5, and I could check my work, and that would equal the original expression. For these problems down here, it says factor. You could really do these in your head, but just in case you want a method, I do want to show you how you can use the cake method for this. If I were to write the original expression in a cake, 4 and negative 16 have a common factor of 4. Then I would divide each factor by 4. 4x divided by 4 is x. Negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4. And then I'm done. I can't reduce it anymore. This tells me that a 4 will go on the outside and an x minus 4 will go on the parentheses because that's what's at the bottom of my cake. Go ahead and pause the video and try the rest of these 3 problems. All right, on problem 12, hopefully you're ready to check. On problem 12, I'm actually going to take out a negative 7. And if you want to see how that would look in the cake, it would look like this. And then that would give me x plus 5, because negative 35 divided by negative 7 is positive 5. So x plus 5 would be your best answer. If you did 7 and then had negative x minus 5, I would accept that, but usually we do want x to be positive if possible. So I think the first way I did it is a better way, but I would accept either. And then 13, I'll just go over the answers real quick, is x minus 9 on the inside, 9 on the outside. And 14 is 2 times parentheses 2x plus 9. All right, let's take a look at page 47. So 1 through 9 is pretty self-explanatory. You're just doing exactly what we did on the previous page in the last 4 problems. Problem 10, though, the instructions might be a little confusing. It says factor out the coefficient. That actually helps you. That tells you that on the outside of the cake, you must put whatever the coefficient is. So it's telling you, since it's 1/2 a, you have to put a 1/2 on the outside. You have to have 1/2 be the outside number in your parentheses. 1/2 a divided by 1/2 is just a. Negative 1/2 divided by 1/2 is -1. And you could do work if you wanted to check that. So that would be a minus 1. So basically, whatever number is outside in front of the variable has to be what you divide the other two numbers by. And sometimes you have to show some work for that if you can't do that in your head. So go ahead and try this page, and hopefully this helped you understand how to